Are you worried about the ANC? I mean, they had 300 more people like Moses Mabhida, I'm told, than the EFF. Are you worried that they still a force to be reckoned with?
No. We filled up Moses Mabhida with KZN people alone. We filled up FNB with the whole of South Africa. Yeah. Why? You can only take the country to a bigger venue. You can't take the country to a small venue. So we take KZN alone. They bring the whole of South Africa and you still say it's a competition. It is not. We've won the race. They are still to go to FNB as we speak now. And whereas with the whole South Africa, right, they still don't go to the overflow. Paid for.
No, there was an overflow in the beach. I saw people swimming in the beaches.
Yeah. Then the overflow goes to the beach. That's what happens when you take people from Bembe, all the way from Venda to go to Moses Mabhida. There's no way they will avoid the beach. There's no way. This is an opportunity of a lifetime. So that's a risk they took. And didn't work. And knowing Balula. Remember, we once did, when we were still in the ANC, 2 stadiums. That Moses Mabhida and Absa Stadium. Yes, at the same time. So he can't do that now. That's a sign of a decline. We did that when we're in the ANC. 2 stadiums with KZN alone. We once did 2 stadiums here. Johannesburg Stadium and
Ellis Park.
Ellis Park.
Yeah.
They are next to each other.
Yeah.
Same day, right? And then connected all big stadiums in South Africa, all full to capacity. And then address from Johannesburg Stadium. Yeah. When we were addressing at Johannesburg Stadium, we carried live in all the stadiums. Yes. There was no program running except running from Johannesburg. That is the day Mandela came. When Zuma was a president, Mandela came to the stadium. Winnie was there. Winnie was wearing some bandage on the leg, on the hand. Yes. Yeah. So we did that on the same day. They will never do that now. Why? It's a sign of a decline. It's a practical, scientific sign of a decline. Now we dealt with numbers. You have a young man called Malema with his collective of young women and men calling a rally in a Moses Mabhida, fill it up. The same way as you, who have a state president, a deputy state president, who has all the premiers, who has 30 ministers and whatever number of deputy ministers and all number of mayors, MECs. And then you've got state resources. That's why you can land with the police chopper inside the stadium. That's how much resource you have. And then you are still beaten by these people without having all of this. And, we, unlike COPE, also don't have former presidents who's our Dalai Lama behind us, former deputy president, former ministers.
Speaking of which, don't you feel slighted by Msholozi? I mean, you even went to have tea with him. He should have joined you. You should have a former president in your ranks now.
Not necessarily that. What we needed was just him to endorse the EFF. But he has now come into the space, and we welcome him to the space.
Is he not a threat, though, to numbers in KZN?
No ways. We did that with MKP being, after it was registered, it was still a hot thing. And we went to KZN, filled up Moses Mabhida with no hassle. No hassle. Nicely executed. And what I like about that thing is that you get to give people each one of them. People think you are buying people with food. I went to Nelson Makamu's studio yesterday. So when I walk in, I see them, they are cooking. I'm like, this is proper. So we sit for over 2 hours. This food is not coming. I'm like, where is that food now? So then he said, no, Chief, we organize it. I see. Then he gives me food. It's not buying me. That's us. When people visit you, to show they are welcome, they must be offered.
Please have some water.
Yes, thank you.
You have water.
You must offer them water.
Some water, and it's very good water.
And you know what happens? Yeah. We go there, we hire 20 black African, predominantly women-owned catering companies. And we say to them, you cook for all these people. They execute that plan properly, without wide supervision. Ourselves, we do it, deliver it with no hassle. Everybody lives peacefully. And you know what we do? Then the ANC finishes. There are people left. All people left at the stadium. The buses have left them with us. When the rally is done, the Secretary General sits at the venue until the last person leaves. We have a tent that we call lost and found. Whoever lost the bus, any item, you go there. And then we've got taxis, not less than 100. We establish a taxi rank at the venue to take these people home. Immediately once the police have swept the place, they say, now we're clear, these are the only people we have. Then we put them in the taxis, we take them home because we respect them. For whatever reason, it's nice in the stadium, they are overwhelmed by the beach, and the next thing the bus leaves them. It's a human error that we have to take care of it. And we do that. That's why there's no video that will come out of EFF Moses Mabhida that people are left stranded, the EFF doesn't care about people. This is a 10-year-old organization.
So other than coming to listen to Dr. Mbuyiseni Ndlozi singing, why should I vote for the EFF?
If you are unemployed, 90 million jobs are going to be created. You need jobs. And we cannot be a country that prides itself with having a concept called unemployed graduate. It must be an insult. It must be a taboo. No graduate must be unemployed.
In fact, you specifically speak about artisans and engineers and how they gotta create jobs.
Once, Polokwane TVET, its courses must be linked with the industries that are relevant in Polokwane. And some of these kids, as they're still at school, they must be taking practicals in those institutions, and SETA providing money to these companies to pay these kids stipends, to give them both theoretical and practice at the same time. When they leave, already those companies would have chosen 10 of them, 20 of them. You guys, when you are done, you are coming straight here. Doctors, to be a doctor, it takes a lot of time, and not only
7 years.
A lot of money. Yeah. You finish.
Cost us about 1.2 million per annum.
Yeah. You finish, you still have to to march for a job. We can never have enough doctors. Not in our country like this. Every doctor, 6 months before they graduate, they should have been linked to a hospital. Immediately, that when you leave here, your job is waiting for you. And then, especially where they were doing those practicals. Yeah. They're already familiar with the environment, they are there, and all of that. Rob Rossi's daughter, Rob Rossi is one of the richest guys. She's a doctor, was working somewhere in Charlotte Maclege or something, was doing practicals there.
Yeah.
Worked there so nice, and then she left to work in London. Then I later meet her. What happened? She says to me, I will never, ever undermine the experience I got in South Africa compared to, remember, even when she goes to London, she must still go for a year or two, the training of London. She says, there is no training better than that of South Africa.
We hear that a lot about so many things.
Yeah, we
so
do.
What's wrong?
We do. There's no trauma unit that is functional there because there are no accidents. There's no one who's going to put an axe on your head, and then doctors must be taking it out and
or beat you up in parliament as you're trying to
beat you up in parliament as you call a point of order, like you have murdered someone. Yeah. No, she said that's the best, but the problem was the environment was not conducive. There are so many simple things, Julius, that can be done, but it's so discouraging. I don't understand, Rams. And Floyd makes this point very clear in a joking way. He says, the deputy president of the EFF, he says, when you walk into a government building, it's like there are no adults in that building. So I'm like, why do you say that? There are no adults. How can a ceiling fall and there is an